So, my guest today built a seven-figure haircare company without pitching to Amazon, without VC funding, without paid influencers, and without big box retail. She intentionally sends customers away from her own website to small local women-owned refill shops, even when it costs her money. She also makes a full fragrance-free line across every product because she understands that not everyone's nervous system wants to smell like a tropical holiday. Her name is Kate Asaraf. She's the founder of Dip, and she was on Oprah's Favorite Things, which I mentioned because I'm a little bit intimidated by that. But we are not going to talk about it. What I'm actually here to talk to her about is what it looks like to build something real for real people without performing your way through it. Kate, welcome to the show. It's my very first interview, so I'm pretty nervous, and I hope that we are going to make great show.
Yeah, don't be nervous. You're already doing great.
Thank you. So let's start it. Your website says there are many reasons to forgo fragrance. Who actually reaches out about the fragrance-free line? What do those customers say?
So a lot of people are there's a lot of different reasons. So one, some people have autoimmune disease or they're going through a chemotherapy and their doctors have advised them to get rid of any kind of scents that they might be sensitive to. That's something that is just the people that are going through something or have an autoimmune issue, they should be allowed to have beautiful hair, especially as chemotherapy kind of robs so many people of their hair, like at least enjoy it while you have it. That's one of those things. Some women who are going through IVF, in vitro fertilization, they are advised to stay away from smells. They're advised to stay away from fragrance because not all fragrance is made the same. Like I take a lot of effort into into making very, very high end fragrance that are
Mhm.
considered to the cleanest standards of beauty, but a doctor has to make a recommendation based on the broad stroke of fragrance. So they tell, and if you are having trouble conceiving and you're going through all of this expense and all of this extra care to try and conceive, there should be a shampoo and conditioner and a product line that is available to you. It's just kind of it's a love letter to the people that are going through things to have fragrance free. And then some people are just sensitive to smells. And that again is like one of those things where I want to have an option for people that aren't really considered in mass beauty.
Mhm.
And for me, what's very frustrating is people don't know the difference often between fragrance free and unscented. So fragrance free means no ingredient called fragrance is in the product and it still smells like the base. So we use a lot of natural things in our bars. So it still has a very mild scent in the base. Unscented is when a company comes in and adds fragrance in order to neutralize the scent so it doesn't have a scent at all. And so if you're looking for fragrance free, that is very different than looking for unscented, just so everyone knows that.
Actually, the reason why I decided to start the interview with that and ask you that question is because I recently had trouble with smell
Yeah.
because I am a neurodivergent person. So
Yeah.
I am smell sensitive and I particularly hate the smell of lily. So
Yeah.
the perfume with lily, it kind of, I don't know, it smells kind of like this funeral home for me.
It does
And
smell like
the other thing that I hate is the peach smell in Victoria's Secret perfume. There's this
Yeah.
line of this mist, and I hate it so much because it doesn't smell like an actual peach.
Yeah.
And recently, I was actually in a hospital,
Oh my gosh.
and I don't know what was happening. It was like the autoimmune system response, or maybe because I am diabetic, or it was simply, me being a little autistic and nervous. I was like, I could smell like from one side of I was on one side of the room and the person was on the other side of the room eating, and I knew that they are eating vegetables. And what
Mhm.
specific vegetables? And there were like smells making me puke.
My gosh.
So that's why I actually decided to ask you this question.
Yeah, I am sensitive to many smells myself. There's certain ones that if I'm around too long give me a migraine, and that migraine then turns then also with the smells I get a sinus infection if exposed for too long. So something that is people love the smell of a new car. The smell of a new car actually makes me so sick that I cannot be in one. Like
Oh,
I can't. So used cars for me, I suppose,
yeah,
forever.
I guess so. Was the fragrance-free option always part of the
Yes.
plan, or did someone tell you they needed it and you made it happen?
No, it's always been part of the plan. Was of the age and still am of the age where a lot of people I know were going through IVF, and that was something that their doctors told them to just stay away from fragrance. And so when I was developing it, I think about how many women are quietly suffering with that situation. And they're quietly suffering and quietly going through and being very quiet about any kind of successes until their baby reaches 20 weeks, you know. So there's this quiet undertow of women everywhere that are dealing with IVF. And I wanted to think of them when I mean some of them are some of my best friends. I wanted to make sure that it was something that they can use. I was offering something that they were thought of and considered.
Do you hear specifically from just IVF people or maybe from neurodivergent customers, like people with autism, people with sensory processing differences and issues, or people with ADHD? And if so, what do they say?
I they don't announce I probably do, but they don't announce their commentary with a condition. So often we sell to so many different customers. We have hundreds of thousands of bars sold, and I'm sure that many of them are neurodivergent is very is it's I don't, it's a condition that a lot of people have. And yeah, so I'm sure I have heard from them, but it's just they haven't announced when they write their email or their comment.
Yeah, we can be very shy.
But we treat
We
everyone the
basically like
same, no
mask
matter.
like neurotypical. So yeah, probably they do, but they don't say like I'm buying your bar because I'm autistic.
No, but most people when they have it's usually if they have a medical condition, it would be like a skin condition or a
Yeah.
sensitivity to smell that's what they announce when they reach out.
Okay, so you built to seven figures without Amazon, without big box, without VCs. Most founders spent years pitching those gatekeepers. Did you ever try that route, or did you always go directly to customers and decided, no, I'm not going to do that?
Well, my customers, I am my own I am a sustainable customer, and I know many people in the sustainability scene that are really truly sustainable. They don't agree with the ethics of Amazon. They don't agree with the waste of big box, and they don't agree with those avenues and how they treat their employees or treat customers. And so I it doesn't feel right to also disagree with many of those things and then use those forums as a place for myself to make more money.
Yeah, of course. But what about VC?
So VCs are not going to like my product because
Mhm,
I don't want to sell it in Amazon and I don't want to sell it in big box. And I also want it to last as long as possible so people buy less. I'm trying to train people to buy less stuff less often, but just
mhm,
better. Buy it better, buy it less often. And so that's not a dream thing for a VC to hear. What a VC wants to hear is how many times can we get this person to buy this product per year? What is the cadencing? When is it the product like
mhm,
obsolete so that they have to repurchase? Or how are you going to grow your line to make sure you keep these people in your cycle forever? And that's not a language I speak as a sustainable
mhm.
person. It's a language I would speak as a business person in any other category. But in sustainability, you have to understand your customer. And my customer does not want to be bombarded all the time with buy,
Mhm.
buy.
Yes, of course. There's a version of the founder story where you spend all your time pitching. It was the version of my story that I
Mhm.
spent years pitching. So I pitched to investors, to buyers, to anyone who might open the door for me.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to have built something without that being the center of your life?
Well, it feels surprising because you build you build a company and you take a lot of leaps of faith where you hope that your decisions turn out to bear fruit, right? In the beginning, you're planting a lot of seeds and you're hoping that one of those plants is going to eventually give you some fruit. And with dip, I really, filled my garden with people and independent store owners, knowing that that was kind of where where I wanted to put all my energy. That was the area of the garden I wanted to water the most. I wanted to get people into refill stores. I wanted them to be excited about dip and be curious about it, go to a refill store, and then discover that, my gosh, I can also make all these other sustainable swaps. Because it's not enough to do shampoo and conditioner. It's a start. But what I want is for people to change their lifestyle, maybe one or two or three swaps at a time. And so that's basically why I did it that way.
You mentioned local stores. You fund the build outs of small refill shops. You create exclusive local only scents for them. What
Mhm.
made you decide that that was worth it?
Well, so many stores are stuck not having anything special. So something one store can buy, another store can buy, another store can buy. So I thought, well, how do you make something super special? Like, what is it within my power to make something that only one store can own? And for me, that was like an exclusive scent that was specific to that store owner, and the store owner and I would work together. So when a customer comes into that store and sees a dip bar that is exclusive to that store, then they can talk to the staff and ask, like, how did this come about? What's the significance of this scent to your area? And that has been really cool because the stores, they reorder their exclusive scents, and that means that people in their town love to support their stores and will choose a scent that is very special. And those stores then, say there's a scent, there's one of the bars is lilac for the Rochester store, Marilla's Mindful Supplies. So she has two stores, one in Rochester, New York, and one
Mhm.
in Geneva, New York. And she has the lilac exclusive scent. And people from all over the country and in a few European countries have ordered from her because they want the lilac scented bar. So even outside of her normal like
Mhm.
selling radius, now suddenly she has something that she can sell everywhere. And I think that that is so cool for a small store to have a reach that is just incremental growth for them.
Yeah, it's absolutely special. And yes, I remember when I'm with my mom, like traveling to, I don't know, other countries to Europe, and we love those local stores that
Mhm.
sell things that are local to them, and they're not like things from China where we can buy like them everywhere. And
Yeah.
it makes them really, really special. It brings a lot of memories, and then we can gift, I don't know, like specifically scented soaps, for instance, give them to people that we actually care about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah. I love
Okay.
it. I mean, I love it and the stores love it too.
Does research on how local retail and community spaces affect isolation? People who have a regular local shop report feeling less lonely. Did that ever factor into how you thought about the Main Street model?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I try and shop everywhere local before I shop anywhere else. Like I studied economics and I understand how important the impact of shopping local is and how devastating the impact of your local economy is when you are only buying at Amazon or even a Shein or even overseas or you're buying only at big box like a Walmart, a Target, any of those places. So you have to people always talk about diversifying your portfolio. You have to diversify your spending and you have to make sure that you shop in a place that also kind of it has some sort of, I don't know, community involvement to it. And so the local stores where we shop is where in my town anyway, you run into people you know. It's a happy feeling, like the shop owners all know each other. So you can say, "Oh, I'm looking for XYZ." And they're like, "Oh, you should try, the store down the street. They might have it." And I don't know, it's just we've lost a lot of the part of being human, that understands and relies on community. And I'm okay bringing that back. I'm okay kind of pushing people into a little bit to bring it back because I think it's very important.
Yes, it is very important. It's still present in Poland that we have this sense of community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from small town as well. So yeah, we basically know each other. We went with each other to school. We live nearby. Like my best friend is like living 2 streets away from me,
Yeah.
so I can basically walk to her home, and she can walk to my home, and we like meet each other like very often. And when she, for instance, goes to her therapy session, she meets the other friend from our school, and she says hi.
Yeah.
So we still have that. And despite that, we obviously have big chains of stores. I think we are trying to, even in those chains, we're trying to kind of retain this local local flavor. So we have stores that are called Żabka. Żabka is little frog, and basically they are like kind of stores that they are like basic necessity stores.
Cool.
And we don't have like big shops like Walmart or others. We actually try to keep it local and try to keep it cheap.
Yes. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the algorithm optimizes for reach and scale. It doesn't optimize for someone knowing your name and when you walk in. What are we losing when we let the algorithm replace that?
We're missing that sense of community. The sense of community is so important, and humans in all cultures throughout history have relied on each other, and interpersonal relationships are part of what it means to be alive. And it's a very special part about what it is to be, I mean, even just a mammal, if you really wanted to make it very broad. And I think that it's very, very important for us to recognize that. It's very easy with technology to slip into isolation. And I don't think that brings happiness. And I don't think that that brings a future that feels human. And so I'm very adamant about bringing back the human level of business. And that's how it was always done before, before the past 15 years. Most business was done with, accountability, trust, eye contact, a lot of those things that I think are important to commerce.
My great grandfathers had like something called an imperial shop.
Uh-huh.
So basically, it was this, I think it's called Imperial Shop, but I'm not sure. But basically, it was this store that had everything. So it had tobacco, it had fruits, vegetables. And I remember how, like, my grandma told me about it. Like, she was like sitting in that store and she was like seeing how they received customers. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. But right now, I think online it can be absolutely useful.
Me too.
And I love that if I have like a very specific need and my local store doesn't have such thing, I can basically order it.
I love
So
that too.
it's absolutely amazing. So internet for me is amazing. I can learn so much things and be exposed to so many different ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah, the fact that I'm Polish and I'm speaking English because I learned it is amazing. The fact that we are talking
Yeah,
via Riverside right now and we are like on the opposite sides of the world is amazing as well.
agree.
But it's not the same as the local thing.
No, there's a million use cases for the internet that make it amazing and incredible. There's a piece that we are losing, and that is, and I think actually what's gaining traction is people being in such isolation a lot of the time that you don't realize it. Like usually throughout history, if someone was in isolation, people would notice. But since so many people are kind of isolating right now, you really you wouldn't notice. But if they're a part of a community, a part of the fiber of a community, you would.
You didn't use AI influencers for
No.
your audience. That means that they are seeing real people recommending something. Does that feel important beyond just authenticity marketing?
Well, it's there's nothing more important than authenticity marketing, in my opinion. There's so many ways to dupe a customer and to get someone to buy something once, but that's not really my goal. My goal is to sell to people where they can trust the company that first time and then trust the company to purchase again. Selling things to a person one time is very easy. You see it all the time. It's easy to sell it once, but
Yeah.
really, to get someone to buy over and over and really do a lifestyle change, which is what I'm asking of our customers, it's that authenticity is the most important piece.
What the thing that Forbes article doesn't include, that was actually hard about building this way you build it?
The
Because
the hardest thing.
Forbes is, the highlights real. It's the success. Obviously, everyone wants to be in Forbes, but what was actually like before Forbes
It
and
was
before
very, very
Opera?
well, when I started Dip, I had 2 very little boys. I had a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. It was during COVID, and it was a very difficult time because I was with them 24 hours a day. I didn't have help, and I had to build like, my family depended on it. Yeah, it was a sink or swim kind of thing because COVID took a lot of jobs away, and our kids weren't able to go to school for a period of time, and we had to build something, and we had to build something that mattered, and we had to do it right, and that was probably the hardest because you can't really put parenting on hold. Parenting is going to happen whether you want to do it or not. Work you can put on hold. So what I would do that was very difficult, actually, I would wake up at 4 in the morning to do my work and get as much work as I could get done between the hours of 4 and 7 until the children woke up. And then when the children went to bed, probably around 8, so 8 to 11, I would do more work. And so that I had to build during those 2 pieces of the day at the very beginning and at the very end. And that's something that it takes a lot of grit, and it's very, very difficult to do. Um, and only looking back, I think about now that I get a full night's sleep, I think back of what that time was. I don't know how I was able to think or do anything. It was
Yeah,
very hard.
it's difficult. I know. Was there a moment when you thought that you got it all wrong? That what I'm actually doing, like, am I crazy? It's like I should get a job. Was there like this moment of doubt?
Yes, and a lot of the doubt comes from, you could have 10,000 people say that they love your products, and sometimes there's that one person that comes in and it gives a bad review and that doesn't like it or has a whole bunch of criticisms, and that can make everything it can crash your world down. It can make you think that what you're doing is not worth it if you let it. I had to learn to not take any kind of bad review seriously, or not seriously. I always listen to what the meat of what they're saying, but it is very difficult when you put all of your love and your life and your knowledge into something and you put it out there and everyone likes it. And then that one person comes in and tears it down.
And the last question, what would you tell to a founder who's looking at your results that are pretty amazing and think, I'm gonna do what Kate did?
Yeah,
What
I hope
are
you do.
what they are underestimating?
They're underestimating how much of it has to be done slowly. Every analog. Everyone wants to do things digitally. It's faster to scale, faster to build. And I would say that that builds a very weak scaffolding, the weak foundation to whatever business you're making. The best and strongest moves come from real life interactions and going to meet people and talk to people. And that requires a lot of patience and a lot of work and I'm still a very shy person, but it's a you have to get rid of that shy layer and become a different person, like almost like you're on stage when you talk to customers. It's hard if you're shy. I'm shy.
Yeah, I'm shy too, but for me it's different because yeah, I usually have to pretend that I'm neurotypical
Hmm.
and I'm a completely different person as a neurodivergent. So yeah, I kind of resonate with that yeah, you kind of have to become a completely different person.
Yeah.
So, Kate, thank you for your time. Thank you for the interview. It was really a pleasure to talk to you, to learn from you, and that's
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Is my joy, and it was really, really nice to answer such thoughtful questions.
thank you. I tried.
They were great. I loved it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.